Good morning, Gladiators. It's Friday, October 30th, and today we're going to continue our discussion of speed, velocity, and acceleration. So we have 3 things to complete today. One of them counts as a lab grade, so it's really important that you do your best on this activity. So if we look in our Friday folder, the first activity you have is the speed, velocity, and acceleration lab. When you open that, there are instructions. So you must do these activities in this order, following each step. So it says log into your Northside portal. So once you've opened your portal, the next thing it says to click on the Think Central icon. So if you look at your portal, you're going to find this icon. It says Think Central Middle School Science Textbook. That must be open. Okay, so you have to open that first. Once you've opened that, you can go back to the activity. It says click on the following link. Right here, where it says Matter in Motion, you can open that. This is going to load the actual activity. Now you do need to have this document open. So if you open this, this is your lab sheet. You have to record your data on this lab sheet. Right? It's going to ask you to record on the screen, but that's not going to save it for me, so I need it on this lab sheet. So the first thing you want to do is give me a definition for speed, velocity, and acceleration. You can be doing that while the lab is loading. Remember, you can find these in your IMB on slide 20. It's what we looked at yesterday. Then we're ready for the boat trip. So if we go back into the lab, so once we're back in the lab, it's going to start with some background information. So you work your way through each of these, answering as you go through.
How would you describe the motion?
When you go through, you're going to get to the demonstration. So this is going to give you an explanation of how to do the lab. While you're going through this, it's asking you to make a prediction. Think about how you're going to do the activity. And then you're going to get to the screen where it says do it. Listen carefully to the instructions that they're going to go through. The objective is to get this boat to travel to each of these buoys. In order to change the boat's direction, you click on the compass. Okay? So you'll click around the compass. You can change the boat's speed by moving in this slider. Now, the boat's speed is determined by the color around the buoy. If it's yellow, you're medium. If it's orange, it's slow. And if it's green, it's fast. So you'll click on the compass. You see how the boat is turning. And you want to get the boat to go in the correct direction. Make sure your speed matches, so it's orange and orange. And then you press play. The boat is going to travel. You are then going to record this information on your lab sheet. Now, it wants it recorded here. You don't need to do that. Make sure you're recording over here on your lab sheet. That's what I'm grading. Once you have recorded the direction, the distance, and the time, you're going to move the boat to the next buoy until it goes all the way around. So you will have completed all of this data before you move on. Now, at this point, you no longer need to be in this activity. So from this point, once you have these 3 columns filled in, you're going to calculate the speed, remember distance divided by time, round to the second decimal place, to the hundredths. Give me the velocity, speed with direction, and then you are going to start analyzing your data. You do not have to go back in to this anymore. You don't have to complete the rest of that activity. Once you've completed the questions, you go down to question 9. It's on page 2, so don't forget to scroll down. On page 2, we have a graph of each segment of the trip. You are going to tell me which was the fastest, the slowest, the furthest, and the shortest, just based on the data on the graph. When you finish this, you need to submit it for me to grade. After you've completed the lab, I want you to go back into the Friday folder. And in the Friday folder, you're going to find 2 activities. One is a discussion question. You're going to post an answer to this. Can 2 cars have the same speed but different velocities? Why or why not? Don't just tell me yes or no. Give me a justification for your answer. When you have finished that, the last thing you have to do is in your notebook, slide 21. It's explaining the relationship between speed, velocity, and acceleration. It should be maybe a couple of sentences, and it says give an example of each. So provide an example of speed, an example of velocity, an example of acceleration. So you have a lab, a discussion, and a writing prompt to complete today, all about speed, velocity, and acceleration. If you have any questions, like always, shoot me a message or join during Zoom, and I'll be happy to help you. If I don't talk to you today, have a happy Halloween and be safe. Have a great day, Gladiators.